Question 5. We have a rectangle that has a length of 8 centimeters and it has an area of 20 centimeters squared. And we are told that the length of the rectangle is increased by 2. So that means in our new rectangle that's going to become 10 centimeters. And we are told that the area of the rectangle is increased by 4. So our new area here is 24 centimeters squared. And that's a bit of a wonky rectangle, but anyway. Noah says the width of the rectangle decreases by less than 5%. Now, the width of the rectangle, given that these two are the lengths, are this distance here and this distance here. So what we need to do is find the width of the first rectangle, find the width of the second rectangle, and then compare them to see if the change is or the decrease is less than 5%. So base times height equals our area. That means that 20 is going to equal 8 times this W1, and 24 is going to equal 10 times this W2. When we divide both sides by 8 here, we end up with 2.5. Where are we? Pen's decided to stop working. Still decided to stop working. There we go. 2.5. And then when we divide both sides by 10 for the other one, we end up with 2.4 for our W2. So we can see that this has decreased from the 2.5 that it started with, but by how much as a percentage? Now, there's many ways you can do this. Some people will take these away from each other first to get the loss, and then compare the loss to the original, like so. So we end up with a fraction like that, multiplied by 100, which gives us 4%. Or you could find 5% of 2.5. If we find 5% of 2.5, we end up with a number, eludes me, I'm going to type my calculator. 2.5, we end up with 0.125. And then when we take that away from our 2.5, because this is a decrease after all, then we end up with the number 2.375, which is, so that's a 5% loss, which means this is not as much of a loss. So because of the fact that this is smaller than 2.4, then it's going to be less than 5% that's lost. That's another way of doing it. Or we could take our new value, which is 2.4, divided by our old value, which is 2.5, and then multiply that by 100 to get our percentage of 96%, which ties in nicely with the 4% loss that we had here. However you choose to do this, Noah ends up being correct, which you'd have to write. Noah is correct because it's a 4% decrease that we have, which is less than the 5% that Noah stated. Done.